behind the car is that my dad purchased it back in 1970, actually the year that I was born. And we would take the car. The car was special to him because he always wanted a hot rod. He bought himself one. So we would take it out at night. It seemed like it was always very late. And we'd take it out and just what he would call rip the wheels off of it. It used to be blue originally from the factory, and he had a small accident, so he thought it'd be the perfect time to change the color. And he wanted it to be black. So it was black, and now you can see that it's purple. And we wanted something original. My dad was a fantastic father, always plugged into his kids, and a good family man. And wanted something, he was truly an original person, and I wanted something that reflected, working with Charlie, reflected his originality. And Charlie's guys himself did not disappoint. We have a fantastic car now that we can tell a lot of stories about with my dad and have fun with it. Some of the things on the interior and even the exterior, the color. We talked about the color several times, and I wondered if we should still do it black, but decided to do something pretty neat with the purple scheme. And then also there is some parts in the interior that remind me of Dad. Like the seats are more of like an old leathery ball glove. It's something that he would do with me is throw ball and stuff like that when we get home. And there's a lot of machined parts. Guys that I work with at the shop that help through concepts of Charlie's, and we would machine them. So there's a lot of hands that's come into this thing, that a lot of fond people and friendships that I've made with folks that work at Charlie's, and then also the folks that I work with every day.
How about the motor? I mean, it's the original motor.
Yeah, the motor. We rather than drop a new motor into it, I kind of like the sound of the old motors, and that's the original 383. It's a matching numbers car, and for what we've done with the car, most folks might say, "Wow, why didn't you put a late model motor in it?" Well, we like the way it sounds. It was original. It's matching numbers, the whole 9 yards. I don't know. I kind of like the way it sounds like it is now. Original 383, stroke 496 cubic inches. So we're gonna see what it can do. Hope it's pretty torquey. Got an air conditioner. Didn't have an air conditioner. It was probably one of the cheaper models of Roadrunners when Dad purchased it, and Charlie asked, "Hey, would you like to have an air conditioner?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to have an air conditioner in it." So got one of those, and the dash, everything's original. Was original, has been taken out and made new.
What made you want to choose those wheels?
Was always fond of the Y pattern, a Y pattern. Wheel I would look at always would have like the letter Y in it, and I like the color of this one. I think it complements the purple really well, so that was really cool.
What made you want to go with the trunk passage all the way into the car?
Oh,
Just something different?
Yeah, definitely something different. Also, a memory. Again, these cars have a large back dash to them in the window. And when we would go to the drive-in movie, that's where I'd take a pillow and I'd camp out in that back glass because that thing's humongous. But and that's something we didn't change. It's got the original rear glass in it, which I think is really attractive, really neat looking style. Charlie had a lot of input on the front end of the vehicle, how to give it a lot of character. Because the Roadrunners originally in '68, for that matter, the factory, didn't really have a whole lot of character about them. The body sides, I think, are really nice. The fenders and things like that are really smooth, hipped out. And then the rear is just probably, man, I don't know, it might be my favorite part of the car. The rear end is sweet. And I don't even know if that's what the industry calls it. I'm calling it cupped out. Near the turn signals in the back, man, it is sweet. It is really nice. He and his team have done a fantastic job on that. Oh, instead of going chrome, I like the blacked out. All of the trim pieces have kind of been blacked out, and there's very little chrome, if any. I don't think there's any, actually. So I like it. The engine color and the transmission color match the wheels. They did a phenomenal job of doing the transmission and the engine. It's as it's actually as nice looking as the outside of the vehicle. A lot of people had asked me, what kind of radio are you going to put in it? And talked to Charlie. You see a lot of folks, which it's all personal preference, but I think he and I wanted to see something that looked cleaner, not a lot of lights. We did want custom bezels, and you find that type of CNC work all throughout the car, but didn't want a large radio glaring at you at nighttime in the vehicle. So we're going to Bluetooth, so to speak, the radio, and I think it looks better that way.
You want to talk about Brett, about the interior, like the
Interior is definitely unique. Talked about the ball glove type material that Brett used in it. There's some neat things about the seats. I've always liked Star Wars. Brett said, well, I can do pretty much whatever you want. And I thought, okay, if he can do that, then I'm going to ask him to make the seats look like a particular part in the Star Wars movies, which the seats look like the seats in the Millennium Falcon, which I think is fantastic. That's again something that my dad, that was one of the first movies my dad took me to that to me was so different, and I always, had a love for Star Wars, and we put it in that vehicle. Even the actuators for the windows and the door locks, all custom CNC'd by a man named Doug Warren, a guy I've worked with for years. And anyway, had a lot of help from people. What else about the interior? The dash. The dash is completely different than the factory dash, which Charlie did a fantastic job of creating a cockpit, if you will, where all the gauges and everything is facing towards the driver. The moment I saw it in the metal, I knew it was going to be something special, especially after Brett got through wrapping it. So it looks fantastic. What I would like to say is you can't make a decision to build a car like that without the support of your family. My wife has been just the biggest cheerleader of all, and my son and my girls. My dad did not get to see the finished product. He passed away in 2017, and he got to see a lot of drawings. Charlie would do some hand sketch drawings and things like that, and he was so excited for me and my family to get this thing built. And now that we've got it built, got a lot of stories to talk about my dad. But my family's been super supportive, and I really appreciate them letting me do something like this with Charlie. And it was a good decision to go with Charlie's Custom Creations. You wouldn't regret it if you have a car built by them. And one other small thing, the way I found out about Charlie was through a friend of mine that I went to high school with, David Stinson. And he said, if you're able to get him to do a car for you, he said, just write the check and let him take care of it. And David didn't steer me wrong. It's been a good decision to go with these guys.
Thank you.
Yep. And that's what I asked David.
All right, just got back from World of Wheels, had a great trip. Gotta unload the awards. So Cody, what are you doing in here, man? Well, you got one of our trophies?
Yo!
Hey, there's supposed to be 5. Where's the rest?
I must have lost them.
You been sleepwalking?
It was a long trip, man. We had a lot of fun. It was quite the adventure.
Well, we gotta go find the rest of them awards right now.
I don't know where I put them. Yeah, man, I was having the craziest dream about some junk in the trunk.
We gotta find these trophies, dude. Stay focused. You do it over at the Rover.
It's got some junk in the trunk, man.
Some junk in the trunk.
Junk in the trunk.
That's one. Anybody home?
Oh, yeah. Junk in the trunk. The thing with these trunks. Boom.
Ooh.
Full radical.
You're full radical. We're missing one.
That's not a trophy.
That's not a trophy. Big one.
The big one.
Anybody home?
What's that?
Hey, that's a pretty nice print.
First in class.
Here she is, all wrapped up for the next show. And the next show will be Birmingham World of Wheels. Enough from Cody and I. We've just been trying to have some fun with it. Sock out. Hey, be careful with all that.